Our next trek or walk will be taking place on Wednesday the 26th of June. We'll be starting off at 10 AM and we're back here in Pentland Regional Park for another 8-mile trek. This time we'll head towards Harlow and Threepmuir reservoirs before finishing once again here at Flotterstone. Let's go have a look at what's in store. Over there is one of the most well-known hills when coming to the park at Flotterstone. It's said to be named after the Turnhouse farm and was recorded as Tunnock Hill in 1609. There are some doubts about its meaning, which is ironic for one of the most climbed and shapely hills in the Pentland range. Now, we did do this walk, or I did, in either December or January, and eventually it was rained off. It wasn't rained off, it was bad weathered off. At that time I went round anti-clockwise, so this time I'll go round clockwise and we can look at everything from a different angle, or another direction should I say. I was just chatting to a chap called Keith. Hello Keith, down there. He's out 3 times a week for a walk, 10 miles roughly, and I think he said he was 75 years old. So keeping active and mobile, even just walking, you don't have to do 10 miles, it's great for you, and the fresh air and the nature, it's all good as well, so let that be a lesson to you children. The Phantom's Clue, which heads up this way, is a 20th century name given by the Pentland Hills Ranger Service to honour the work of a man nicknamed the Phantom, who was often seen doing minor path repairs here but refused to engage in conversation with anybody. But it's also thought that many years ago there was a robbery, a heist, and the chase led the perpetrators up into the Pentland Hills, and it's also thought that he was actually looking for the treasure, and the reason he didn't want to talk to anybody was because he didn't want anybody else getting the treasure. So choose which story you like, or which myth even if you want. On Roy's 1755 map, this was named Clochmead, later Clochmead. It's now called the Maiden's Clue, which is a gross corruption as it has nothing to do with maidens. And as I've mentioned before, a clue in Scots tongue is a ravine. So it's not a nice flat path if you're coming up here for a walk. You can get wet and muddy, and there's lots of stones. Also, if you're coming up Maiden's Clue, there's a lot of cyclists, mountain bikes who use it, so be aware, especially if you're coming down the way, to listen out for bells or shouts of "Look out!" So over here is the former site of the Maleny Rifle Range. On the 8th of May 1913, a Mr. Lyle wrote to the Secretary of War with the following observation. He asked whether the Secretary of War's attention had been called to the unsatisfactory character of the Maleny Rifle Range near Edinburgh, which is traversed by two rights of way and, owing to its elevated and exposed position, occasionally buried in mist, and whether he will consider the desirability of providing a safer and more satisfactory range. This, of course, eventually led to the opening of the Castle Law range over the hill there and down a bit, which is much more secluded and contained, and it made it safer for walkers heading through here, so they didn't have to run for cover. If you're coming along on the Trekker Walk, don't forget it's a little bit further than a normal health walk. We're doing 8 miles on this one. There are some inclines, not steep hills, but we do go up and then down gradually. The paths are more varied. There's loose rubble, there's ravines, there's boggy ground, loose stones, tree roots, tarmac parts of the road. It's also up in the hills, this one, so weather can change quickly, so have yourself some waterproofs, or a waterproof top anyway. Decent walking shoes that are going to keep your feet dry, and bring some water as well, keep yourself hydrated, and some food as well, because 8 miles is a wee trek, so give yourself an energy on the way round. We go a faster pace. But if you watch the videos and you see me walking up and down, I'm stomping along much faster than what we'll actually walk, just so that I can get round and get back to work. So it is a faster pace, a faster steady pace. So if you're up for all of that, if that's all okay with you, then come along and join us on one of our Trekker walks. They happen once a month, usually the last Wednesday of the month, and we go to various places in Midlothian, and we'll take you over the hills or through the woods. And many people who've been on the walks have commented that they've been to little parts of Midlothian they've never been before, which is always good. Pentland Hills Range is around 20 miles, 30 kilometres in length, and runs southwest from Edinburgh towards Biggar and the upper Clydesdale. They're easily accessible and have many paths for different levels of ability. But as I said earlier, always be prepared when walking in the hills. Threepmuir Reservoir, behind me, is located behind an earth dam constructed to the design by Scottish civil engineer James Jardine. The reservoir was formed between 1843 and 1848, and as a compensation reservoir for the water of Leith by the Edinburgh Water Company. The reservoir spillage way discharges at the eastern end from where the discharge flows into Harlow Reservoir. Beevelaw Castle lies on its south side. The reservoir is stocked with brown trout. Maleny Angling Limited hold the bank fishing rights to the north bank of Threepmuir Reservoir, and Threepmuir Angling Association, established in 1893, hold the fishing rights for the boat angling and the bank fishing from the south shore. So, if you ever see a fight between two boats out there, like pirates, maybe that's because they've crossed over their angling borders. Who knows? Sounds awful complicated to me. Black Hill, just here, at a height of 501 feet, gets its name from the black moss that covers it. Simple as that. It was also formerly known as Logan House Black Hill and West Black Hill, now just known as Black Hill. Now, the government physical activity guidelines for adults says that we should all be doing 150 minutes of exercise each week, and that's moderate exercise. Split that up into 5 days. That's 30 minutes a day. However, what they found is that people who couldn't do 30 minutes a day weren't really trying, because they thought, I can't reach that 30-minute limit, so I'm not going to bother doing anything. So what they now say is that while we're aiming for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, or 150 minutes per week, anything is good. So you can make a start. You can make a start and just do 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's getting started today and keeping that going and building it up gradually that will help you be fitter, be more mobile, and be more independent for longer. So if you're sitting watching this, you don't have to be out here on the hills to do any of this. You can walk around the block. You can have a wee walk in your local park. Just get up, get out, start walking, and try and do it a few times a week, and you'll find yourself enjoying it more, meeting more people while you're out, and getting a lot of fresh air and exercise. So go for it. Still the waters. Now, St Catherine of the Hopes Chapel, the late 12th century kirk, lies beneath Glencorse Reservoir. Many have asked exactly where it is, in case the water is low enough one day to see it. And it's said to be just below Kirkton Farm, in the water out in this area. Round here, just down from the farm. What some people don't know is that St Catherine is where the name Catherine Wheel comes from, that you see many a time on the 5th of November. So out here, let's get a clear spot where there's no trees. Here we go. So sort of just as you come up to the bend and round a wee bit is where it's believed that the remains lie. Let's go look under the water and see if we can see it. So come along and join us. Stuart, our volunteer walk leader, will be leading the walk. I'll be making sure nobody's lagging behind on Wednesday, the 26th of June, Flotterstone car park, just down there. And we'll leave at 10 on the button. So make sure you're there for 10 o'clock. It's an 8-mile trek, a nice little loop. Lots to see, lots of fresh air and exercise to get. See you there.